Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Hello. I'm Pamela Harmon. I'm the Director of Education at the SETI Institute, coming to you from an undisclosed location somewhere in the greater San Francisco Bay Area. My colleague, Beth Johnson, who's our social media coordinator,
Hi, everybody.
is teaming up with me today, and we're going to present to you 5 science investigations that you can do at home because, well, yeah, we're all at home and we're all trying to stay active. So let's be active in science. So I'm going to start with just a quick introduction to the electromagnetic spectrum. You might have heard the word EM spectrum, but don't worry about it. It's just light. It's just all the light that is around us. Astronomers use all the light they can to understand the universe, our galaxy, and our solar system. We use all aspects of the electromagnetic spectrum in our everyday lives. How many of you have heard of X-rays? Yeah. How many of you have had an X-ray because you broke a bone or know someone who broke a bone? So that's using light that we can't see, but we can build technology to take advantage of that light. How many of you have heard of radio or microwave? Yeah, everybody's got a microwave. There's light inside that microwave that's cooking your food that we can't see. Yeah, I know. There's a little light bulb in the microwave, but if you really think that microwave light is cooking your food, take one of those frozen dinners, lay it on the counter, and shine a flashlight on it for about a half an hour and see if it's really getting cooked or not. So there's light that we can't see. How many have heard of infrared or ultraviolet? Sure you have. So all these forms of light are really important to astronomers. They need all those wavelengths to really answer all the questions we're trying to answer. So before I start listing our 5 activities, we have visitors from Kurdistan and France and Brazil, so welcome. So the 5 activities we have, we're going to look at infrared investigation, a couple of ultraviolet light investigations, constellation viewer, and then star wheels and objects so that you can go out tonight and look at some objects in the sky. So we'll start with infrared. How many have one of these at home? Or 6? We all have remote controls at home, and we use them like I push a button in my hand and something in my home turns on, or the volume goes up, or the channel changes, or it records. So there's got to be a signal getting there. So this device makes use of infrared. So when I push on a button, I can't see it with my eye. My eyes detect visible light, not invisible light. But the camera on my laptop is detecting. Can you see that flashing light? You bet. Let me try another one. So here's another remote control. I'll push a different button. All right, so that flashing light is a signal, and we're using that infrared light that we cannot see every day. You can try this with your laptop camera, your tablet camera, your flip phone camera, or you can even, if you have a smartphone, try both or 3 or 4. Some of you have multiple cameras on your smartphone. Try all of them. Try different remotes and try different buttons. See how you're getting a signal to your devices. Okay, secondly, now we're going to move to ultraviolet light, which is another form of light that we can't detect, but it's harmful to our skin. It's even harmful for our eyes. So how many have heard of sunscreen, hats, sunglasses? Sure, we all have. So how do we know when ultraviolet light is around? Well, for not a lot of money, you can buy ultraviolet beads. Our colleague Rebecca, who's behind the curtain, will be posting information in the chat on how to purchase some of the materials that we talk about today. So they're just beads, and we can string them on a Chanel stem. We can put them on yarn. There's different ways of working with these. If you do choose to buy them, you'll get a huge bag, and you can share them with your neighbors. at a safe distance, of course. And then you can investigate your neighborhood and find out where is ultraviolet light. So I have an open window just to my left. So let me grab my UV beads that have been sitting in the sunlight. And we see that they turn color. Oh, and my colleague Beth has some too. So they turn color, and this is telling us that there's UV light present. So what are some of the investigations we could do? You could see if there's ultraviolet light when you're in the shade. We could see if the sunscreen really worked. If I put sunscreen on plastic, will it prevent these from turning color? Does ultraviolet light reach the bottom of the jacuzzi or the swimming pool? Put some on a heavy wire and put them in the pool. Don't leave them there, take them out, and also be very careful with the beads around young children. They are small. So that's another fun activity you can do to investigate the presence of ultraviolet light around you. So we also have folks from Italy, Cape Town, Canada, St. Ives, Cornwall, Mexico, Germany, and Lake Lahti, Finland, and more international visitors and lots of visitors from the US. So we're happy that you're all here. And I'm going to turn it over to Beth. She's got a couple of activities for you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Beth, the social media coordinator. I am the person responsible for seeing a lot of the stuff online. I have my UV beads, they're already fading, but you can kind of see that they did manage to turn some colors. I have some purple, some green, so this is pretty cool. I also have a window right here. While Pamela was talking, I ran a little experiment on something that we call sunprint paper, or there's another name for it, cyano paper. And so what I did was I put sunscreen on half of it, and then I put it in the window. And so here you can kind of see the sunscreen half is over here. And you can see that it's still darker blue. Unfortunately, the sunscreen it does a very good job of covering, so you mostly see sunscreen. But on the other half, you can see the top, which really got sun, has faded. And the bottom part, which was a little bit more in the shade of my dining room, is actually still the same darker blue. So this is really cool. You can actually take this paper outside and really quickly put small things on it. So give me just 1 second and I'll see if this worked. So if you want these to stay, you have to set them up. You have to set them with water, but here you go. I had a button and I had some little tiny rubber bands and I had a pin. See if I can get that in the camera. There's a pin that was laying across one of the rubber bands. So if I were to go and spray this with water, it would set and you would see those shapes on that paper from there on out. So that's pretty cool. It actually worked. I'm very happy. But you can still see that the part of the paper that didn't reach the sunlight is still that same dark blue. So my windowsill is not as white as I thought it was. So there you go. That's another little one. You can order this stuff online as well, and you can take these outside and make shadow paper, basically. So you can do all kinds of little shapes on this. Back to you, Pamela.
Oh, are you going to do the Constellation viewer?
Oh, sure.
Back to you, Beth.
Back to me. All right. So what I have here, and this came from a science kit that I was sent. So basically, I cut out this Constellation wheel, and they sent me corkboard, which is really easy to get your hands on. So these are easy materials. You can print these out almost anywhere online. And what I have is I have pins that I've been putting in to the constellation, the main stars. So this one at the top is links. And so you can see I've put these pins in the stars. And then these rubber bands that I'm using, these actually glow in the dark. So if you take this into a dark room, they will glow once they've been in the sun. So this is kind of neat. You can line up all these different constellations, and these are ones we can easily see from the night sky. And you can put pins, again, easy things to get. And little ultraviolet rubber bands, also fairly easy to get. All of these things can basically be ordered from your local craft store or various online sources. And then you can take this and you can, if you have a cloudy night, you can look at stars inside in a way. And you can take it outside and try and match these constellations with the ones in the sky. But Pamela has a better star wheel for that. So I'm going to send it back to her so she can show you the star wheel she printed out online and put together.
Okay, thank you. So we also have viewers from Nepal and Spain and Chile. So welcome. Send some love. So the star wheel that I have, they're also called planispheres. So you can purchase them, online. Have it delivered to your home because we're all at home and the delivery trucks are still running, or you can print out lots of different types of star wheels. I happen to have a Kepler star wheel today, and I have the Kepler star wheel because I used to work on that mission, so it's near and dear to my heart. And this particular star wheel has stars marked on it with known exoplanets. So they have marked naked eye stars that you can see with your eye. You don't need a telescope. And if you can find the star, you can point up and say, there's an exoplanet orbiting that star. So you print them out, and you have to cut out the wheel, and you have to cut out the envelope and the circle, and you tape it together and you insert it, and it works just like a store-bought planisphere or star wheel. And so to use them, you want to make sure that you get one that is the correct latitude for where you live, because that matters. And if I want to go out at midnight tonight and know what's going to be out there, I'm going to align the hour with the date. So today is April 30th. And if I want to go out at midnight, I'm going to choose 11 p.m. and line that up because it's sun time, not daylight saving time. So there's the time and there's the date, and I line it up, and this is what my night sky is going to be. Now you might see more stars than this, you might see fewer stars than this. It all depends on how cloudy and how much other moisture might be in the air. So you notice that it says the horizons are labeled south, west, north, east. So when I look this way, I'm facing east. So I'm going to grab and put my fingers right on where it says eastern horizon, so that I know that that is the bottom of the horizon. Now, this is not a window to the sky. This is the entire sky. So what's in the middle of the star wheel is directly overhead. Okay, now if I want to look this way, that's south. So I'm going to grab the star wheel where it says south and hold it that way. Now, if I stay out for an hour, the Earth has rotated, so I need to, it's still going to be April 30th, I need to rotate the wheel so that it says midnight, which will be 1 a.m. daylight time. All right, so this will work for you all night. This will work for you round the calendar, all the way around the calendar. So tonight, if you have clear skies, there's some real easy stars to see. There's some real bright naked eye stars. And if you can, Deneb, Vega, and Arcturus, and one more is pretty easy. Spica. So those are 4 bright stars. They're on the star chart. They're on this star chart. You can find them. And Spica is part of the constellation Virgo. So if you find Spica and then you go up in the sky, there's the constellation Virgo, and above Virgo is Arcturus. So in between Virgo and Arcturus are 2 stars that are naked eye stars, Tau Boots and 70 Virginis. And both of those stars, they're right there, just above the constellation. Both of those stars are naked eye stars with exoplanets. So if you have clear skies, you can go out tonight and find stars with exoplanets. So, also, yeah, go ahead.
Pamela, we have Sergio has a 5-year-old son.
Yeah.
And he wants to know the best way to show him science. He's very curious, and he wants to, and his father wants to use everything he can to motivate him and explain things to him through science. So what kind of resources do we have for that?
We have on our website, SETI.org, we have the Don't Panic Survival Kit at Home resources, and there's a plethora of online resources and some recommended books and some videos. There's a section on how to do experiments at home with some inexpensive books or free PDFs. home materials. And I love that you asked that question. Science is really curiosity. And when you say you have a 5-year-old who's curious, we're all born scientists because we're all born curious. We see something and we wonder, well, what's that? And we try to figure it out. So when he has questions, say, that's a really good question. How could we figure out that answer? So go to our Don't Panic part of our website, and there's even things are divided up by ages. So there's some materials that are even recommended for young students. And if they ask a question that you don't know the answer to, don't be afraid of it. It's like, that's a good question. Let's explore this together.
Also, as a part of the Star Wheel conversation, if you want to just take your phone out, there are a lot of really great apps that you can download on your cell phone, both from the iStore, both from Android, all over the place. And they usually have a great dark mode setting too. So make sure you put that on so the light from your phone doesn't make it hard for you to see the lights in the sky. And so David in the chat had actually commented that there's some great ones that have GPS too. So you can actually use the GPS on your phone and use that to look around. But we like the Star Wheels because that's a nice, tangible way to show kids how to look for stuff.
It absolutely is. And Rebecca behind the curtain will post some links and information in the chat. And so there's magazines that publish hard copy and online copies of what the stars are going to look like tonight, what they're going to look like this month, and they'll include the planets because planets are really hard to put on a star wheel because they move in a different manner than stars. And so you can either use those charts or your favorite app. Another thing to do with your phone, you definitely want to preserve your night vision, is you can wrap it in red cellophane, and that'll help too. But the apps have that night mode built in. So in addition to those stars tonight, Venus. You can go out shortly after sundown and see Venus in the west, which is the evening star or day star. This time of year, it's an evening star. And if you're able to stay up until the wee hours of the morning, look for Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars. So if you've got clear skies, it's a great night for naked eye objects. So, so we had infrared, UV beads, sunprint paper or cyanotype paper, that constellation wheel, planisphere star wheels. When Rebecca posts the information in the chat room on our website, SETI.org/Girl Scout Stars, there's 2 more constellation, there's a PDF, 2 different links to another constellation viewer that you can build with just small Dixie cups. You print out the templates, use the template to punch a hole in the Dixie cup, and then you just shine a light through it on the wall, and you can put the constellations on the wall, shine little bits of light on the wall for lots of constellations.
We have one more question. Gokin wants to know what's in the sky. When they're moving, are they stars or satellites?
Oh, that's a good question. If it's moving quickly relative to the stars, because the stars are up there and we don't notice them moving until we go back out and look an hour later and go, well, that used to be there and now it's over there. So if we're moving rapidly compared to the stars, it could be in an airplane, it's got red and green lights, or it could be a satellite. The ISS, the International Space Station, also moves very quickly through the sky, and there's websites and apps to help you watch the ISS. You can get an alert when the International Space Station is going to fly overhead and go out and see it.
Okay, well, that looks like all the questions we have, unless anybody else has any. I wanted to say hi to some people in Nepal and Spain and Chile and Brazil. Thank you for watching from all over the world. We really appreciate you taking the time to see us do our experiments today. Pamela, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, just we're home. if you've got dark skies, go out and take a look. And I agree. I have 2 apps on my phone, but there's such a sense of accomplishment when I can go find an object myself. I can envision, myself navigating, centuries ago when that's all people had. And there are great stories about navigating by the stars. And if you can want to share those with your children, I think those are great stories too.
Oh, there, we do have one more question.
Okay.
Oh, this person wants to start some controversy here. So Sergio is now asking, is Pluto a planet or not?
It's a dwarf planet. It's just because it's named for Pluto, it's still the most popular, the most beloved planet. And so it's still out there. It's just a dwarf planet. It's just a little planet.
All right. Well, that looks like everything. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this afternoon. I hope you had as much fun as we did. I'm still enjoying my cyano paper over here. This is so cool. I still have a button. Come back and join us next week. And Pamela and I are hoping to bring you some more experiments later next month. So have a great afternoon and evening, and wherever you are, don't forget to go outside and look up at those stars.